But let's start by introducing ourselves. My name is Whaley. I'm the CRO and co-founder of Teal. Reid Johnston is joining me here today. He is my partner, a co-founder, and also our CIO. He's excellent with all things technology and guides technology for ourselves and our clients. And we're here, Reid, for our monthly Microsoft tips and tricks. So Brittany's shared your screen already. Let's jump right in. What is it that you wanted to start with today?
Yeah, so the first thing I wanted to cover was some updates to Teams. Teams has made a lot of changes in the last few months, and one of them that we talked about before was the ability to kind of group your chats and your channels and create, different groups like favorites or high priority, or I can rename a section, I can create more sections. But the thing I wanted to talk about today related to all of that is um, channel threads and how that works and how it can look different than what we see here. What we see here is kind of the traditional look in Teams where you've got a topic and then you've got replies. So they're posts. It's a post style. And what they've added is the ability to make this look like more like Slack looks, where you have threads. So the first thing you have to do is go into your settings and you can customize your view. And in here, the starting point for everybody is separate. So you're on separate now unless you've changed it to combined. And for this all to work, you've got to be on the combined view where you see all of your stuff kind of in one big list instead of separate where it's got your chats and your teams separate. So we're going to go
So
on combined.
Reid,
Yeah.
this is analogous to what you could do with your email as well. Some people like to look
Yeah.
at email threaded, and some people like to look at it separate. If
Yeah.
you're as old as me, uh, you know that that really started with Gmail, right?
Yeah.
So really, what you're saying here is Microsoft has moved Teams to give users the same options they have um, in email to thread it, to be threaded or non-threaded.
Yep. Exactly. So we've switched to that combined view, and then I have a channel here. In Teams, you've got all sorts of teams, all sorts of channels. Owners of a team can change the way their channels look. So you've got to be an owner. You can't just change any team you want. You've got to own that team. But when I go in, I can edit the channel and I can change the layout from this post view to this thread view. So when I do that, my screen is going to change here. It takes a second. Now it's changed. It almost looks a little bit messier because of the type of messages in this channel, but you can see the replies are kind of collapsed, right? Where before I could see all of the messages in those posts. So now when I click on a reply, it's going to open it up on that right-hand side. So that's the thread. That's the familiar part from Slack or maybe from Outlook if you have message threading turned on.
Mhm.
So when I reply, that conversation or that thread is happening on the right-hand side. And it's only the different topics that are happening on the left-hand side. So this can help you easily keep track of all of your different topics in a channel and then drill into each topic and have the conversation on the side. You'll also notice that when I type a reply, I can choose whether I want it to go into the thread only or duplicate it in the channel. So if I do that, now I've got my thread, but now I've got a message into the channel. So why would you want to do that? Maybe you have a conversation thread that you're putting in an important message and you want to kind of push it out, like it to highlight it for your team or to highlight it so that people know what's going on. So that's the
So give us a
changing
real
the
world
look.
example of that with the using the sonic wall alert that we had the other day.
Yeah.
Just
How
asking.
to do that? That's a question.
Well,
Okay.
no,
Yeah.
that's a
So,
question. I mean, so like there was a Sonic Wall alert the other day, and we had to take action amongst our team for all of our clients to upgrade their
yep.
firewall. It was a 0 day.
Yep.
And Reid started a thread, um, and we're all chatting within the thread. And then, like the example that you're just saying here is 3 days later, SonicWall released yet another update. So that would be an example of where you'd want it in the thread and to highlight it in the channel so people knew to come back there and look at it. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. That's a perfect example. You're posting it in the channel, and then they can go in the thread and look at it. So that's changing the look. And I'm going to just switch it back really quick so that we can see
Now,
back
again,
to
you're
that
doing
post.
something that only the owner of the channel can do.
Yep. Yep. So here's my post view. See, I've got I can see all of those replies right in each post. They're all grouped together. So when you turn on thread mode, you kind of push all the replies off to the right. Um, the other thing that is important to identify is you probably see this followed threads in the upper right hand corner or upper left hand corner. So when I click on that, you can see different threads that I'm automatically following, because when you post a new thread, when you create a new thread, you're automatically following it. But when you reply in a thread, you're not necessarily following it. If I want to follow a thread, I can click right up here and see here, I'm already following it, so I only have the unfollow option. But if I wasn't, I'd be able to follow it. So then think of following as the individual conversations that are important to me, maybe temporarily.
Mhm.
They'll show up in this followed threads view.
And you'll
So,
get a notification.
and you'd get a notification depending on how your notifications are set. So
But
yeah,
is it
that's
related?
the
Like
thread.
if you're in a thread and you're following that thread and you unfollow it, will you still get a notification? Or is that doesn't depend on follow, unfollow? That depends on notifications.
Right. The notification settings are different.
That
Yeah.
might be a little bit too deep
Yeah.
for this
Yeah.
call. Yeah, so
So
this
that's
is
threads.
this is threads, and like we're halfway through the meeting, so we could talk a lot about threads. I'd say generally speaking, I was an early adopter to threads and Gmail, and then when I moved to Office 365, of course, it's very difficult to go back from threads. But I have my teams, oddly enough, in post, not threads, and I find that better for teams. But that's just, I guess, personal perspective.
Yeah.
Um,
It's preference.
yeah. Let's move to a couple other short but cool things with
Yep.
the 10 minutes or so we have left. Some new features or some cool features that we're using a lot in meetings.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so this happened to me recently, but we're talking about how to follow a meeting that you're not going to attend, I think.
Yep. Exactly. So here's a snip of my calendar. You can see we have a leadership meeting. I've got some other appointments today. When you have a meeting on your calendar, you can right click that meeting and you can accept it or decline it or tentative. That's what we're used to before. But the part that's been added is the follow. And when you click follow, watch this here on this leadership meeting. When I click follow, it changes the red on the left to white, which marks me from being busy during that time to free during that time. So it leaves it on my calendar. It tells Don, the organizer of the meeting, that I'm going to follow the meeting, which means I'm not declining it. I still care about it. I'm just not going to attend it. So when you follow a meeting now, and this meeting happens, then if the meeting's recorded, I can easily go in here and I can open up uh, the event and view the recap of the recording. Now I can't really do that here because the meeting hasn't happened yet. But where you're following a meeting, it keeps it on your calendar, and So the attendees know that you still want to understand what's happening, but you're just not going to attend it. It makes it easier to get to those meeting recaps.
Yeah,
So,
so the real life scenario here, and it's new, it's a new feature, like Reid said, but last week or 2 weeks ago, I missed that particular meeting because I was on PTO
mhm.
and I wanted to watch the recording, but I had declined it. So this feature must be within the last couple of weeks then, because that feature didn't exist. But regardless, I declined it. So
Yep,
then when I tried to watch the video, I couldn't because I had no permissions to that. So I had to ask Don, who's the owner of that meeting, to share it with me. Rather
yep,
than decline it, I should have, because my calendar was blocked out because I was on PTO anyways. I should have just followed it, and then I would have been able to see the recap and watch the video. So
yep,
that's a real life thing that just happened to me and brand new. So we decided to add it to Microsoft Tips and Tricks.
yep,
Um, so Reid, this one, next one is game changing for me, but
yeah,
uh, it doesn't work for me. But let's talk about it. Maybe I'm doing user error. So
for
uh,
sure.
tell me a
So
little bit.
So the next one is taking an email and turning it into a meeting with a quick drag and drop. So here's an email from Jill. There's a bunch of other team members on this email as well. Um, Multiple ways to turn it into a meeting. Before we've talked about the schedule with Copilot, but today we're going to talk about just taking this email and dragging it over to the calendar button. So I'm taking the email item here, drag it over to the calendar button, and it takes a second. I just did this earlier and it worked, so hopefully it'll work again. But it's going to open up a new window, and now I've got a calendar item or a meeting invitation that all of those participants that were on that email are part of. The original email was copied into the invitation, and um, I could modify it if I want to, and I could send it out. I could, pick a time, drag it onto a time that works. So that's the first thing I want to talk about. The next
Okay, let
thing
me
though I
just
want,
ask a question on
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
because while you were doing it, I did identify that it was user error on my side. So typically, what I've been doing in the past for that is, and we've talked about it on earlier tips and tricks webinars, is I just hit reply all by meeting, and
yeah.
it's similar. And we talked about this. I was like, this is game changing because it's a lot fewer steps. My error was I dragged it to the actual calendar, not to the icon of the calendar. That's it.
Yeah.
That's a user error number one. User error number two is I didn't drop it. I just dragged it and waited.
Oh, yeah,
So
you gotta.
you have to drop it on the calendar, and then like you said, and I did this while you were doing it. It takes a second, but it works great. I'm still using this immediately. This is a game changer for me. Sorry, please continue with the next thing you
Yeah.
mentioned.
So the last part is this little find time button. So if I click this, this is going to show me the first available times that people are available based on our calendars. So I don't have to go open up another screen and look around and figure out who's available. It's going to show me right here. See that? So it's
Yeah.
going to give me some options. Now it's showing Nick's unavailable, I guess. Maybe he declined or is going to decline. Maybe he's out. I don't know. But this will help you find availability very easily. So very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm gonna. It took you twice to show it to me, and now I got it. So we have about 5 minutes left. We're going to be stick to our time commitment, 20 minutes or less. A
Yeah.
couple other things we want to talk about today. I think the control slash plus slash
Yeah. So let's go back
commands in Teams.
into Teams. So we're in Teams all day. We're chatting all day. Our hands are on the keyboard all day. So my number one most used thing that I do is control slash in Teams. And when I do that, I gotta turn off this other thing here. Hang on a second. Let me just turn this
Are you turning off the things I told you to turn off before we started the live webinar?
off. You are. Yeah, you are. You are. When you type that, it's gonna bring you right up to this top menu. up at the top of your teams so that you can jump to channels, messages, chats, and so on. It's very, very useful. So remember that is Control E is the command for that. Control slash brings up all of these slash commands that are available in Teams. So like I could say DND or DND, and it's going to put me on do not disturb immediately. I don't have to go over to the right-hand side and click it and change my settings. I can do control slash away, and it's going to flip my status to away. So look at that control slash and look at all the different options that are available there.
So
So
just to reiterate the two
yeah.
high level things, because when you get into prompts or command line, a lot of that's maybe a little bit more technical for people, but two
Mhm.
things that are pretty easy for everyone are command slash, and it'll show you what to do, right? That's one.
Mhm.
That's the second one. And the first one was control E to go to the top.
Yep, control E takes you right to the top. Control slash brings you into that slash menu. So
So control E, control slash, those are the things to remember from this call.
yep.
Make you a little bit cooler when you're sitting with your colleagues and peers. So two more that are Copilot. One's Copilot related, but
Yeah.
you don't have to be too technical to learn. But if you're using Copilot, setting tone is an important thing. Important thing to understand. Can you show that?
Yep, I'll show that real quick. So I'm in Outlook. I'm composing a new email. There's a draft with Copilot option. So when I type that slash command, I've got a draft with Copilot, and Copilot will help me make an email. So everyone, there's a meeting tomorrow at 9. Show up. Let's have Copilot make that sound a little bit better for me. So it's going to write that message. It'll take a second. It's pretty quick. Usually it's quick. There it is. Hey, just a quick reminder, we have a meeting scheduled tomorrow at 9. Please make sure to show up on time. So how did it sound like that? Why did it write that way? You can go into your settings in Outlook. There is a Copilot section in Outlook.
You must have the license for Copilot for this
You
call.
must have a license for Copilot. Yep. You go into those Copilot settings, and now there is a draft instructions. So in my custom instructions, I'm telling Copilot how to write conversational, less corporate jargon, avoid M dashes, don't say things like streamline and game changing because I don't talk that way. So when I've given these instructions and I ask Copilot to author a message for me, um, it's going to have that tone and sound that way. So that's really useful. I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only useful, it's sort of a must-have. You should set that. If you're using Copilot for your emails within Outlook, you should set that tone.
Yeah.
2 minutes, Reid. We want to keep right on that 20 minutes, but this one's cool. It's a real quick one, and that's Outlook search at the top to get to everything.
Yeah. So you'd think when you go into the search box in Outlook that you're going to search your messages, but you can search everything in Microsoft 365. So think of it as like a global search box. So I'm going to type tips. And when I do that, you can see it's showing me files, our tips and tricks document. Now it's going to show the things that I've recently interacted with as well, which is pretty cool. So I can look at mail only. I can look at files only. So here's more tips and tricks documents that we've created for these calls, teams and people. But I just wanted to share that, that search box is more powerful than just searching for messages, for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean that when you showed that to me, I guess I realized it, but I never used it in that way. I'd only use it for email, so that's really helpful. Reid,
Yeah.
we're at 11:20, man. We're right on time. Usually we go a little bit short, but we're going to end it there.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Reid. Folks, thanks for joining us. If you have any questions, feel free to email us. We have a lot of great stuff on our website, and we record all these, so they're all on our website as well. Thanks, folks. We'll see you next month, or we'll see you in 2 weeks when we do our Copilot tips and tricks.
Cool. Thanks. See ya.